So growing your political footprint, yes, obviously voting, but between elections, effective citizenship. I call it developing the habits of effective citizenship. A lot of it is about staying on top of the news media. The letters to the editor section of the newspaper is still the most read section of every paper. And while a lot of people no longer actually read a major daily newspaper, a lot of the people we want to wake up are reading those papers. So writing a letter to the editor, developing the ability to write a really snappy 200, 300 word letter that informs the readers of the paper about key issues you want them to know about. It has the effect of also informing the newspaper that the readership is really their customers are interested in these issues. And it also, they end up in the clipping services, so politicians are going to notice them too. But the main thing is that if the news media is no longer writing the really good stories that we need to understand the issue more, like when something happens like the IPCC report, it's really important that a lot of people who understand that issue pick up on one or two points of it and share them back to the community through the letters section. And the other place where people, I think, can develop a very helpful habit is, it's almost like weeding a garden, it's a pretty noxious garden a lot of the time, is the online comments section that are associated now with major networks and local radio stations and newspapers. They have an online comment section where, unlike the print page, and I don't know why this decision was made as a matter of policy, I think it's crazy. If you write a letter to the editor, they want to know who you are, where you live, and it's really you before they print it. But on the online stuff, anything goes, and you could be a fossil fuel company that's hired someone who has 20 ISP addresses and pretends to be 20 different people and spends all day long writing derogatory personal attacks on anyone who risks themselves on a public space by saying, we've got to take action to protect the climate, these are the things we can do. So the political voice is, yes, show up at rallies when people want you to show up, but try to expand the, if you love writing, write opinion pieces. Go beyond the 200, 300 word letter to the editor. Submit an article of 800 words to local newspapers or national newspapers. Also, of course, if you haven't already done it, join, volunteer, or send money to organizations that are also working on this issue and are struggling. Because another thing that's happened in the last few years, for 17 years I was executive director of the Sierra Club of Canada. We had a vibrant, healthy environmental movement in this country. We no longer have one. We have a bunch of groups who are trying to stay afloat. All of the important environmental groups in this country are being audited by CRA. Their time is being wasted going through audits, and the chilling effect is definitely working. And the environmental groups are less likely to be vocal, and there's less media to cover what they say. So it's really helped keep people asleep when it appears from the media that everything's more or less okay. And you can stir that pot a lot. Oh, and also complain. Every news outlet has a citizen complaint line. So if you see that there's, that yet again we've seen coverage of a major climate event globally where the coverage never mentions the impact of climate change in that so-called natural disaster, or talk about trivia, you've seen that the lead story night after night is, I don't know, the last one I can remember that drove me crazy because it was night after night. Tiger Woods is an example. Just not news. Celebrity drivel instead of news. Complain, because at some level that also has an impact on getting us an opportunity to have actual news discussed and shared.
It seems to me that the media in general is using trivia as an opiate. So going back to your initial question, what can we do? Ouspensky described walking down a street and seeing a sea of sleep. What we can do is wake up. There's a line in a Yeats poem, 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare. That's what I see we're facing. So look in the mirror. scream into your own face to wake up, and then go out into the streets and see who else you can wake up.
It's my opinion that the most significant environmental work that gets done is done in neighborhoods and communities across the country. That's where you really see action. And I would strongly encourage everyone to involve themselves with neighborhood and community-based environmental organizations. A great example is what's going on here right now. So you've got Creatively United for the Planet that has organized this event and what's going on here tomorrow. And hopefully hundreds or thousands of people will walk through here, and there'll be 100 exhibitors here talking about local solutions. And if people walk away with ammunition and ideas and contacts, then that's power. And I personally think that that is something that really does spur significant change, is working at the neighborhood and the community level. And in terms of social media, without question, it has become the most significant animation tool or rallying tool that we've ever had. Look at what happened in the Middle East with the Arab Spring. The governments that were overthrown over the course of just weeks as a result primarily of using social media as a communications tool is just stunning.